Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, I have to be away today. So please watch the video and it will give you the instructions you need for the day and some important information. So this is the first lesson in our opinion writing and unit. In this unit, we'll focus on developing ways to support our opinions and ways to understand the information that is around us. We will focus on using our speaking, listening, and writing skills. So, what we're going to do today is look at how we get information. And this is really important because the ways we get information form our opinions. And the information that we receive comes from a wide variety of places. It might come from family, it might come from friends, it might come from social media, it might come from the news, things we read, view, hear. And what we find out is our opinions are formed on all of the information that we consume on a daily basis. So it's really important to understand the types of information that we receive. So the first thing we want to think about is disinformation and misinformation, because it's a growing concern in the world that we live in, and it has a way of kind of finding its way into things that we do. We might find disinformation or misinformation in the news, in the world, in our text messages, from our peers, from the internet, a wide variety of places. Before we start, I want us to look at the words disinformation and misinformation. You'll see in the screen that they share the same root word, inform. Inform meaning, to provide information. But they also have the same suffix, the ation. They have two different prefixes, dis and miss. Take a minute, think about it. What other words do you know that start with dis? Now take a minute, think about what other words you know that start with miss. What do those words have in common? For example, when I think about dis, I think about disagree. And that means not. So I know that with disinformation, I might be able to see a connection there. When I think about miss, I think about mistake, as in like unintentionally making a mistake or unintentionally doing something. So it makes me think, what is the difference between disinformation and misinformation? So when I think about that, disinformation is a commonly used technique by people to influence public opinion. It's the intentional spreading of wrong information. And dis means not or opposite of. And that can help us to determine the meaning there. So dis means not or opposite of. So this is the opposite of good information. And with disinformation, it's done intentionally. It's the spreading of intentional wrong information. For example, on X, which is formerly Twitter, it's believed that at least 47 million accounts are bots that are used for the purpose of spreading misinformation through social media. On the other side, misinformation, miss, having that meaning of incorrect or badly, is spread by people we trust, family or friends. So it's when family or friends incorrectly spread information. Now, misinformation can be spread by mistake. Disinformation is spread intentionally. We've got disinformation and misinformation, and these are two key terms that we want to understand to go through our process today. Because what we're going to do today is we are going to play a game in a minute. The game we're going to play is called the bad news game. This game will put you in the position of someone who's trying to spread disinformation. So you get to pretend to be someone who's spreading information. The idea is it will allow us to gain insight into the tactics used to spread false ideas. And that way, if we know how it's done, we can help to avoid it. So before we begin playing the game, a couple terms you want to think about. Impersonation, emotion, discredit, trolling, polarization, and conspiracy. These are the terms that you will learn as you play the game. Please take a moment in your journal and jot each of them down and break them into syllables so that you can practice the blend as you read strategy. Additionally, go through and circle any prefixes you see. All right, so you're gonna play the bad news game. There is a handout in Classroom for you to complete as you go. As you go, the choices you make will allow you to collect badges. These are all the badges you can collect. These are the ways that you can spread misinformation. The handout asks you to track that because when you're done, you're going to share with a peer at your table what these mean. So the goal is to understand, what does it mean to impersonate? What does it mean to discredit someone? What does it mean to create polarization? So as you collect those badges, you want to think about it. And about what does it mean? That's what you're trying to gain from that. You will see this screen. You're going to hit start. You'll see the first piece there, the impersonation. That's what you're working on, working towards earning that badge. So you'll see that there's a prompt. Hi there, good to see you. So you get to choose a response, and that response will then generate a different prompt. My job is to guide you in your quest to become a disinformation and fake news tycoon. If there's no choice, you just choose the same one again. You're probably frustrated about something, right? Aren't we all? You can get started by using Twitter to vent, and then you can choose post a frustrated tweet or I'm not sure. And then you'll have a choice. If you see the tweet and you're like, oh, I definitely tweet this, or you're not sure about it, you can choose some different ones. Remembering this is a simulation putting you in the position of creating fake news. You'll notice too on the side that you collect followers and get credibility as you go. At the end of playing today, make sure you make note of that on your handout. All right, so your goal today as you play the fake news game, the bad news game, is to see how disinformation is spread, to learn about those techniques so you can be very savvy about them.